Here
Hey, hey, hey!
with fireworks.
Welcome to 2017.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get party hats. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We were
And
forgetting.
party
a little let
poppers.
down. Well, to be clear, Hazel was supposed to get us party hats.
That's
so
true.
We should really blame this on
Yeah,
her.
she's
which
watching.
also there are still snowballs.
Yeah.
Like buried under our chairs from when Hazel did this last time. So I guess we can't allow Hazel. Anyway, microphone check. Is something wrong with our microphone? Screen is dark. Let us know if there's technical issues. Everything looks fine to us from this side. So let us know for some
Especially
reason.
those sweet, sweet fireworks.
Yeah, so let us know if anything's going. Also, let us know if the fireworks start to get annoying, and I'll put the throne back on because I don't know if like all this crazy animation behind us is gonna be a little crazy. So
Hello, Dream Team! Yes! Finally, it's caught
yeah.
on.
Wait, did we?
Stream Dream Team.
Okay. I was like, wait, were we not the Dream Team last time? But
Stream Dream Team.
we reassembled the Dream Team one last time.
We did.
For 2016.
For one last big score.
Yeah, before we just came back
Basically,
and did it
Voltron,
again.
I think, is what's happening.
Pretty close. Okay. Shall we begin?
Let's do it.
Are you
Let's
driving? You
let's
pressing
dive
the
right
forward
in.
button?
I'll start.
It's all over.
It never lasts long.
Yeah, so let's Ben forgets to click. So let's talk about what today's stream is going to be. First off, I think it's first important to mention, why are we doing today's stream?
Yeah, great question. So, we had a great run of doing like 12 weeks of a stream every week leading up to Knights of the Eternal Throne. We really enjoyed interacting with you guys, getting feedback, kind of announcing and talking about the things going on in the game. And it's been 3 weeks since our last stream, and in that time, it's a brand new year. So we thought that we'd just come back, say hello, talk a little bit about what's been going on in the game, especially some things around like community contributions,
there's
some
been
of
some
the
really
hot
cool stuff.
topics and stuff like that.
Yep.
So this stream isn't full of new information.
Yep.
We have a recap of some things coming out in January. We've talked about them before, but in case you don't know what they are, we're going to just reiterate the things that are coming down. And if you guys have follow-up questions or things we haven't answered before, you can certainly ask them and we'll do our best to answer. But we really just want to check in with you guys, say hello, recognize some great community contributions, and then talk a little bit about January. And then
fireworks.
And then fireworks. And then later in January, which we'll get to a bit later, at the end of January, we'll have another stream where we'll come back and talk more about plans for March and other things that are going on with the game.
up, yeah.
So that's what you can expect
Yep.
this stream.
Just want to set the expectation because I posted about it yesterday, but I just want to make sure everyone was aware. Yeah, we're just nothing crazy today. Just
Before we go too far, though, I saw a comment in the chat that I don't think we're ever going to top the rest of the day. Y'all can prove me wrong.
Interesting.
They were looking for a Kaizyken and Arkin romance, which I'm choosing to interpret as a romance between
the two.
Kaizyken and Arkin, which I'm 100% in favor
so
of.
you can't romance Arkin, and then all of a sudden Kaizyken just randomly
he
shows
just
up,
swoops right in.
and he just takes him.
Steals your man. Just jumps in. Yeah.
You know I'm on board.
That wasn't going to be in 5.1, but it is now. I'm definitely going to do that.
Seeing lots of RNG comments. There's a whole section on that. We announced it last year, the changes we're making to make gearing a bit easier for certain people, and we'll give an update on that. It's part of the point 4 on the agenda, end game gearing changes.
Yep, and we'll talk about. Charles will have a few more specifics as well then we reveal.
Sorry to
last time as well.
sidetrack us. Let's get it.
Let's get
back
there.
on
I
track.
think even Shaq can agree. Kaizyken and Arkin romances is extremely important to the stream. It has to be. Anyway, so here's the basic rundown of the agenda. We're going to go through the community topics, the things that you guys are bringing up and talking about, forums, Reddit, social media, 5-year anniversary rewards, and Life Day, just a reminder of what they are, how long they'll be around. Game Update 5.1, it's coming in just a few weeks. There's a bunch of new content coming with it, along with the endgame gearing changes that are coming to Galactic Command. As Ben or Charles mentioned, I already forgot. Influencer content, we definitely have had some great stuff from our fan sites and the folks in the influencer program, so I just want to highlight some of that cool stuff. And of course, looking forward, just a reminder of what's coming and when you'll hear more from us as we move forward.
Good. Cool. A little hashtag remove Ben in there. It's not very nice. Just want to call that out as I prefer that we have. Oh, I ruined that.
Charles, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, this is obviously a really high value production. You mentioned we wanted to focus on some things that our community had created. So, this was something that was sent to me on Twitter. Obviously, they came to me in my house. We got together, filmed this elaborate choreography together. I think it really turned out nicely. Yeah. So
I want to give a huge thanks to Megacode, I think was their name on Twitter, because I talked to them for like 30 minutes yesterday to get this file. I'm like, please, I need this for the stream tomorrow because it's perfect and amazing.
We need this in our lives.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
so thank you for that.
Yep. So community topics. These are just kind of the things that have been going on over the past couple weeks since we did the last live stream. Endgame gearing, RNG as many of you will refer to it. Again, we're going to talk about that. We talked about it at the end of last year, the things were changing in 5.1. We're going to go over them again today and provide a little bit more details on how some of that works. What's coming after January? As we had alluded, we were going to do a stream in January talking about what's coming after 5.1 with the Uprisings and stuff. Again, that stream will be January 26th at the end of the month, where we'll be talking about that. Last thing, Season 7 top 3 titles. So Season 7 ended with 5.0, but we haven't given out the top 96 titles yet. The reason is, as many of you reported, there are a few people who had been playing not fair, we'll say, in the top 96, and so we did a pretty deep investigation to find them.
And maybe play not fair with them a
Correct.
little bit.
That is the correct answer. And so we got them, and we're going to be working over the next few days to get them off the leaderboards, get them out of the season, maybe get them out of the game. We're going to be pretty harsh on them. People, especially at the top of PvP, we want to make sure that you guys can work fairly towards being the best PvPers for your class. And so anyone who happens to cheat to that level, we're going to be real unkind to. So the goal is that we will have all of that taken care of, along with issuing the top 96 titles by the end of next week, the latest. But I'll let you guys know exactly when that'll happen for sure. So
Cool.
there you go.
Awesome.
Anniversary rewards.
As always,
Yeah.
we've been talking about it a lot.
Yeah,
But
we'll do a quick review just
Yep.
for anyone who's missed them. They're available a little bit longer till January 17th. We've got the awesome Celebration Jawa for our 5-year anniversary. Senya Hollow statue lets you train up in the field, learn from her extensive wisdom. Some really cool artwork, decorations for your strongholds. Lets you kind of use the what we call the I can't believe I just forgot the word. The logo art.
the trophies, like the wall trophies,
Yeah,
decorations.
Yeah, it's essentially
Key
it's the key art. That's the word.
Oh, I
The
thought
key
you were
art
talking
that we
about the
use
decorations.
For all
for
the
each expansion.
expansions.
Yeah.
This is why there's 3 of us, because between the 3
Eventually
of us, we can
someone
figure
will
out.
remember.
We'll remember the words we're
The
using.
technical term. So it's the key art. It's the featured art of each of the 5 expansions we've done in the last 5 years. So you can hang those in your stronghold with pride. Also, the ability to buy the Coruscant and Droman Cost strongholds for 5 credits each.
This deal's getting worse all the time deal.
I don't think we have to reiterate that every time.
I'm going to make that joke every time.
I think if you, it's relative for inflation, all that kind of stuff. I feel
Yeah,
like it might be a better deal. Actually,
Last year it was 4 credits, so I feel like you're wrong.
And of
but
course,
now you have more credits.
Yeah.
Relatively.
the Distinguished Veteran Award for our 5-year players, that Galactic Alliance statue that you can also feature. Which is
We didn't talk about this before, but is it the 17th or 24th?
It is, as far as I know, still the 17th.
Okay,
It
still
is, it is the
17th.
17th, yep.
Perfect.
And I have to double check just because I wanted to, I'm glad you brought that up because I need to check because I think last stream we may have said the 24th, which was my mistake. You get that?
Seriously? If this were the draft house, you'd be out of here.
Yep.
I thought it was on silent.
So
Let's keep going.
Anyway, I'm going to double check, but I can tell you it is definitely the 17th, but I may have misquoted it last week as saying the 24th. So anywhere that is referencing the 24th, just know it is the 17th, and I'll make sure that it's updated anywhere else that we have it.
Cool.
Okay, honest, have you guys been drinking? Don't lie, just admit it.
Water. I don't know.
Just water.
Yeah. I don't actually drink.
I've been drinking a lot
really.
of coffee
People are constantly
Why did you put it in air quotes?
because I thought it would be more funny. that
people
way.
are constantly disappointed at our cantinas that I don't drink because they really want to get me sloppy and have me say something I shouldn't. But sorry guys and gals.
Typically at cantinas, I learned that people will try to do the same. They'll be like, "Hey, I got shots," but like, I'm not gonna take shots. But then they try to give us. But it's like I curse usually at a cantina because I'm not on camera and stuff. So usually that's enough. Usually, is just to curse.
All right, so Life a Day event is still live. So event ends January 10th. All the rewards are still there, up for grabs. The activities are there. Go out and play it. I think we've talked enough about it. But
a lot
if
of
you
fun.
haven't done all your Life Day stuff yet, get it done.
It's also a pretty decent way to get some extra CXP.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because every time you get a snow-covered parcel, you also
some
get
points.
you get a bucket of command experience points along with it. I also saw someone ask this earlier a few times in chat, which is when we refer to CXP, we're referring to command experience points, which
Yes.
are what you get to gain ranks in Galactic Command, just in case, because we will likely call it CXP. So
Yeah.
that was a good question.
Cool.
All right, over to you, Mr. Boyd. Let's
All right.
talk about all the things coming on January
Yeah.
24th, just to remind everyone.
Yeah, we've got some really cool stuff coming. Game update 5.1. It's going to be all about defending the throne, protecting your new place in the galaxy. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't played the chapters, sorry. It's been what, 2 months now? Come on, get
It's been enough
with the
time.
program. That's going to come out on January 24th. Really big feature here, 5 new Uprisings. We're going to tell you all a little bit about each of those now. First one is called Trench Runner. That takes place on Denova. You can see it there in the background. You're going to be fighting some elite Republic troops who've kind of gone rogue and seized these trenches, and of course the I believe it was detonite mines that are on that planet, very dangerous to the whole galaxy. Destroyer of Worlds, subtly named, taking place on Makeb. This one's all about a really cool, old one-ish monster that this rogue Jedi has found deep beneath the surface on Makeb and is awakening. And has this crazy cult following it. It's a really trippy, kind of interesting one. It's all about escorting a giant bomb down there to basically blow up Cthulhu. So, I'm on board. Landing Party. This one takes place on Rakata Prime. It's about some leftover holdouts from the Zakuulan forces who are trying to build their own new star fortress with the wreckage from all around Rakata Prime. And so it's going to be your job to invade and stop them.
I'm pretty excited about one of the encounters.
Yeah, there's a very cool sort of Normandy Beach-esque encounter in that one that's very cool. So I can't wait for y'all to check that out.
If you don't know what that is, pay attention in history class.
Yeah. Wikipedia, Normandy Beach invasion. Anyway, Divided We Fall. This one's all about rogue Coruscant security forces who are trying to bomb the Republic Senate and then blame you for it, which you're probably not in favor of. Maybe you're Imperial, you might not mind. But need to get in there. If someone's going to blow up the Senate, it's you, right? So let's just make sure you're taking credit for it. That's going to be down on the lower levels of Coruscant, a place we haven't gotten to feature in quite a while, so it's cool to go back there. And finally, Trial and Error. This one's all about mad science and experimenting with the rat ghoul plague to create like a super combat adrenal. This one is particularly fun. I'm trying to decide if I should spoil the really cool bit of this one.
No?
Hold back on it?
No, hold back.
There's some cool stuff you get to do in this one that we have. This is another one where we.
I like Ben's definitive.
Oh no, keep it
cut
in.
it, cut it.
There's something you get to do in this that we have wanted to do for a very, very long time, and
Kaizyke and Arkan romance. I'm just spoiling it. I can't. I can't hold
the
it
whole
in.
Uprising. You just walk in and you see it, and you're just stunned for about 2 hours, and then you can leave. That's how that works. No, it's a really cool encounter with crazy mad scientists, soldiers, rat ghouls. It's a lot of fun on a really remote and evil space station.
Yep.
On top of all of that, we've got Master Mode for all the chapters that we've released so far. All of the Fallen Empire and Eternal Throne chapters. That's also coming. That's going to be the hardest difficulty single-player content that we have in the game. And going to be a really cool challenge.
I haven't talked to you about this, but I heard you put a little bit of time into these.
Yeah, oh my god. I spent probably, and I actually don't know how it's, I don't know if any balance has changed since when I played it, but I had the best gear in the game and a maximum influence companion, and I was trying to get through Chapter 1 of Kotet, and I probably put about 4 hours into it and didn't beat it. Now I know, chat, you can please pile on in at how I'm not good, and I'm guaranteeing there are people that are a lot better than me, so I'm really eager to see, but for real, it's crazy hard. I had to spend, I had to wait for my cooldown, all of my cooldowns to be up for certain pulls, and, have my full heroic moment, using crazy line of sight, and, crowd control. It's oh, I mistimed my crowd control. Oh, I'm dead. Restart all over again. Man, it was rough. So I'm actually really excited to see how those of you who are better than me, which is most of you, fare in these master chapters, because for real, they're real difficult. So if you guys are looking for, if you're a solo player who likes a crazy challenge, these are really good. Also, if you want to do the challenge but have it less crazy, you can also bring a friend or two and try to do it a little bit easier.
Make it a little easier on yourself.
Make it a little easier for yourself.
I mean, we're all going to judge you for it. A little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep. Thank you. You're not good, Eric. Clearly, content is super easy because they balance it around how bad you are.
Oh, harsh. Harsh.
I promise they don't balance it around.
We do actually have 1 or 2 people who test stuff other than Eric.
Yeah.
Just oddly enough.
Just a few. Also, I'm definitely not the bar for skill.
Yeah.
But anyway,
right.
Just want to do a test. It's real. It's legit hard.
So the last thing we really want to call out here is the Galactic Command in-game gearing changes that are coming in 5.1. That is going to get a whole section here a little later in the stream.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that in a little more detail. We talked about it in the last stream, but really looking to address the feedback of feeling like there's not really a specific way to chase the in-game gear that players really want. So we really wanted to add some avenues to let players do that. We'll get into the details
I think it's the next slide, right?
Is it
Am I crazy?
Yep.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Boom.
Hey,
Awesome.
I might actually take the fireworks off now.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Just click that.
You guys don't want it?
One more.
Okay, wait, what about the
Click
fireplace?
that. There you go. Oh, yeah, we can turn it. The fireplace could always be on too. It's all there.
It's so classy.
It's all there for
All
us.
right, we'll stick with this for now. So, talked about this last stream, but essentially we're going to be adding some new ways for you to gain gear in a more targeted way. As it is now, when you get to level 70, you earn Galactic Command experience points, which then earn you command crates, which contain gear. You get a random chance of getting gear along a spectrum of quality up to some of the really literally the best gear in the game.
Yep.
As you move into the higher levels of Galactic Command.
Yep. And one of the big things that we heard, we talked about this a lot last time, we've talked about it quite a bit since 5.0, is that one of the big issues that players felt was, I don't have a goal of working towards, one, I don't have a goal of being able to work towards a specific thing, and two, man, my luck's been so bad, I cannot get this chess piece, I need a chess piece, how do I get it? And so the goal of this ultimately was to try to address
those issues, for sure.
As a supplement to the gear that you're already going to continue to get through Galactic Command.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in order to achieve that, we're introducing 3 new, essentially, they're kind of currencies or items into the game that will let you gain those specific pieces of gear that you're after. First are command tokens. These are really the most like a currency. These are earned directly through command crates. They are legacy-wide, so this will be also a good way to kind of help catch up some of your other characters potentially. That's another thing we'll probably talk about a little more, probably on the next stream, but other legacy things as well, because we've seen a lot of feedback on that.
Yep.
Also, importantly, we're going to retroactively grant command tokens based on your command level when 5.1 goes live. So none of your effort right now is going to be wasted in regards to that. Continue to gain as many command levels as you want, because we are going to grant you all the tokens that you would have gotten for each of those levels retroactively when 5.1 goes live. And the amount kind of changes per tier, because the prices change per tier, yada, yada, yada. We're still nailing down those numbers. We have a pretty good idea of what they are, but we want to test them out a little bit more first. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The next piece of the puzzle, unassembled components. So these come from participation in war zones, and that's a flat rate. So if you win, you get a set number, and if you lose, you get less. But other than that, it's completely predictable. So this isn't based on medals or specific stuff.
How will that relate with war zones versus arenas?
So we're still kind of digging into exactly how to balance that out, because of course arenas tend to be a little faster. So when we decide that for sure, we'll let y'all know. But yeah, that's something that we're very much aware of, because we've definitely seen it with the command experience points as well, right?
Yep.
So we want to be amenable to that. But yeah, so the idea here is you get unassembled components from war zones, which can then be combined to create the third piece, which are unassembled gear pieces. And then combined with tokens, you get a piece of gear. The level of that gear will depend on your levels in Galactic Command, and how much you're willing to spend, essentially, right? Because these are all just on vendors that you go to the fleet to get. The other source of unassembled gear pieces are ops. So you can go to specific bosses and get specific unassembled gear pieces. So like unassembled helmet, I'm just making this up, but unassembled helmet drops from Revan, say. Unassembled bracers drop from SOA, that kind of thing. You combine that unassembled piece with a set number of tokens. Right now we're targeting that you get enough tokens in, say, 2 to 3 command crates that you can buy a piece, combining once you have the unassembled piece to go with it. So you combine those pieces, you get the piece of gear that you're looking for that tier. Or alternatively, like we mentioned, you can use unassembled components, which you get from PvP, to create those unassembled gear pieces as well. So either way, you're going to go to the vendors, who will be added to the fleet on January 24th with update 5.1, and this will give you some more specific routes to kind of chase things for the most hardcore players to really pursue those in-game best pieces of gear in a more directed and predictable way.
Yep. And so just to recap that with kind of as a pseudo example for anyone that couldn't follow, because there's a lot of information there.
Yeah, for sure.
Basically, you obviously need to combine tokens with an unassembled gear piece, which you can get from one of 2 sources, and you will be able to have enough tokens to do that combination within a few two or three crates, and then you just simply need to get gear pieces. So if you can get a bunch of gear pieces through running operations, doing a lot of war zones, you could get quite a few pieces of gear fairly quickly within command ranks.
So it really just boils down to that, right? Get tokens from command crates, get unassembled pieces from PvP by combining, or from ops by defeating bosses, and you can create specific pieces of gear.
Yep.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yep. And all of that will be in addition to, you can get enough tokens within 2 or 3 command crates. You're also going to get 2 or 3 pieces of gear out of those
we're not
command crates.
The tokens are in addition to everything that is currently in command crates. They aren't replacing anything or being removed. Nothing's being removed to get them. So you'll still be able to get all of those pieces of gear that are already in command crates by playing any activity in the game.
Right.
So that chance is still there. So that's a nice extra bonus for people who do this. Or if you're not an ops or PvP player, that can be your source of this best gear available.
So I know you guys were working this out the last couple of days, and we didn't talk before to see if it's final.
That's the best kind of.
That's always a good prelude.
We're gonna do it live.
Doing it live.
What about stuff for alts?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, for example, the command tokens being legacy-wide is the big thing we're doing now. We're also looking into letting you use your command tokens to buy CXP boosters for the tier you're in or the tier below, I believe. So that would be and those would be able to be shared across your legacy. So you could earn a whole bunch of command tokens on your first character, use those to buy boosts, share those with your next character, and get through those levels much more quickly than you would have before. We're looking to a lot of other ways as well, legacy perks, for example, to increase that speed. But we've seen that concern a lot, and we think it's really valid. So we're definitely going to continue investigating that. We literally have a meeting tomorrow morning to talk about that some more, and brainstorm some more great stuff to do with that. Because we really do see that concern. Playing alts is really one of the most fun parts of this game, right? Because there's different stories, different choices you can make, and so we want to make sure that that's a rewarding experience. So we'll continue to add more to that to make that fun and interesting.
So one of the questions, I don't have a specific question, but just the generality of what I've been seeing quite a bit in chat is the CXP rates you get for different types of content. How do we feel with the overall balance of, Uprisings seem to be a really great source, and maybe operations could use a little help in getting more CXP and stuff like that. Like, how are we currently feeling about the current state of CXP gains?
I think in general, there's still stuff to adjust. Like I said, Uprisings were meant to be a pretty good source right now because it's kind of the new content. We wanted that to be rewarding and fun. We definitely feel like ops in general are not rewarding what they should be, or what we would like them to be, sort of comparatively. So we're looking to bump those up. I don't have the specific numbers in my head, but totally agree with that. They're not giving out enough CXP there, so we definitely want to bump those up. I forget if there were any others specifically that we were looking to adjust.
Those were the two that I've seen.
Those were the ones that I think we were actioning mainly. But please continue to give that feedback. It's something that we pay a ton of attention to. It's something we take really seriously. Obviously, this is our new system. We want this to be fun. We want it to be rewarding, and combining that with this the tokens and being able to go after the specific stuff. We want that to feel like everything you're playing in the game is rewarding and fun, and you have the goals that you're looking for.
And so, just as my own usual community manager hat note is, especially as we get to January 24th, keep feedback coming. Like, I can't express to you how much these guys especially read and listen to a lot of the feedback that you guys are giving. And sure, every solution isn't going to be, everyone throwing a parade for everything that we do, and we understand that, but ultimately we want to move towards getting the system to a place where people feel like they can be rewarded for doing anything in the game, and they really have a chance to work towards gear, and they don't feel like they're being punished for what they're doing. So please keep the feedback coming, especially after this update drops, and we'll continue to...
Right, and we want to be really open with all of that feedback, right? Like, I think we're getting better and better in these streams of having real conversations, hearing this stuff from the forums, trying to incorporate them. We might not do like the exact idea that someone suggested, but often where we land is sparked by the suggestion. And I think, that feedback, just to reiterate, is super important for all of us.
I saw a good point on there, something I didn't call out specifically. The unassembled gear pieces that drop from ops bosses on the last boss of every op, those are guaranteed. They always drop a specific thing. All of the bosses previous to that have a chance to drop any random unassembled piece within that tier. So if you're playing story mode, it'll be tier 1. If you're playing nightmare, it's tier 3. Master mode, it would be tier 3. And that chance increases the further you get into an op, right? So the first boss has a lower chance of dropping a random piece. The second to last boss is going to have a much higher random chance of dropping a random piece. And of course, the last boss has that guaranteed drop.
And ultimately, that's to incentivize people to complete and finish an operation.
Exactly.
We don't want to create a system where just
do
going
the first boss over and over.
Doing the first boss.
That's lame.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'll keep my eyes open for questions unless you see. What about gearing for players who do not raid? So players who don't do operations. How do they account for?
I think it's something we're still definitely considering. stuff like, do we put stuff on a vendor that's lower tier so that, people who don't do ops don't need that level of gear, but they want to get something a little better. Maybe they have an option for that, or, look into ways of tying this into other content. I think we're all open to that, but I think we want to nail down this stuff first to make sure that we really have a good feeling and a good system that people can actually use and feel comfortable with before we expand it further. Make sure that it's actually
mind the system itself is there for people who don't want to do operations, right? Like the whole idea with Galactic Command is you can play any activity you want and get rewards. The thing that we felt wasn't working is the hardest content wasn't rewarding enough because you couldn't chase items. And so that's part of adding this for operations, or for PvP content, is it requires more effort, so we wanted the rewards to be a bit better. But if you don't do that content, you can still earn all the best rewards in the game, you just got to play a lot of the game. And so in that sense, we feel like it's in a good place, but of course we're always open to more changes, and we'll keep monitoring all the feedback, especially after this goes live, to see if it's helping or not, and we just keep making adjustments over time.
Yeah. That's a good question. They asked what percentage chance of dropping, but just generally, how does this work for things like Tomorrow's Courtyard, which is just
so if it's just the one boss, then they would have a specific piece, I believe. I'll double check that, so apologies if I get it wrong now, but I believe the idea is if it's one boss, then they would drop a specific piece.
So good incentive to do things like Tomorrow's Courtyard.
Yeah. Cool. So one thing that's come up a bit is the Carrie Fisher stuff. So we don't have a lot to really talk about there. One thing we did want to say is we thought the tribute on Alderaan was a really cool thing that our players did in the game.
Yeah.
If any of you were involved in that, we thought that was great. I think we're all very sad. Anyone passing away is always a very sad thing across the board, but outside of that, we thought it was really cool that people in SWTOR wanted to celebrate Carrie Fisher, and we think the way it was done was great. And so if you were involved in that, or if you know about it, we think that was a cool thing.
Yeah. So thank you all very much for that. You can head up. It's a question that I saw that I should have brought up earlier, but I forgot, which is during one of the community topics, the Season 7 rewards, I talked about the fact that we were going to be taking action against people who were in the top 96, who were dirty cheaters. As a note, we also saw, especially over the past maybe 2 weeks or so, an uptick in cheating in general that has happened in PvP. I just want to let you guys know, we're aware of it. We're definitely looking into it and taking action. So as always, it is exceedingly helpful if you can always report, if you see people or suspect people, both report them in-game and send me a PM on the forums, me or Tate, and let us know of people that you think are doing it. And we'll definitely investigate them and take action against them. I know that it seems like there was definitely an uptick in that type of stuff happening over the past week or two, and we definitely don't want to allow that to happen. So we'll be taking action against that as we always do. So
cool.
I forgot to mention that earlier. Which is my B. Okay, so we got all
This is an exciting time.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons, genuinely, this was one of our motivations for wanting to do the stream in general. So, I mean, end of last year we brought on the influencer program, and obviously many of these people have been doing great content for long before this influencer ever existed, right? Yeah. We just wanted to make sure to really highlight them. So what we wanted to do is just run through some of the great content that these guys did, especially in the past month or so during the holidays, and read some of the things that you may have missed. So Kiddley did 2 great videos that were things you may have missed with 5.0's release. So one of them is there are new character creation options, new appearances and stuff that you may not have caught that were there. He did a video about that. And we introduced something called Character Flare. Similar to the icon that appears if you have legendary status, we have new ones. The first one I think was in the most recent pack that went out, and it looks awesome. And so we wanted to just introduce character flares. So Kiddley did a video about introducing what character flares are, how you access them, that type of stuff, which is very, very cool. Next, Currently Run Radio. Obviously, they've been a podcast, been around for ages, and they've done streaming on and off, but they really dipped back into streaming over the holidays. And so I just wanted to re-highlight, like, if you use Twitch, definitely be sure to give them a follow. And we'll be sure to. I'm going to sync up with those guys and make sure to get them on our Twitch schedule as well, so that you can catch any of the streams that they've been doing. Because it's good. It's always good to see more and more people jumping onto Twitch. God knows we all spend enough time watching Twitch. SWTORista for. SWTORista and UtiniCast for the Academy series. Seriously, these are some of like the best guide videos ever. So especially if you are unfamiliar with anything about Star Wars, you're new, returning, just anything you have questions about, they probably have a video about it, and they're really, really helpful. So definitely check them out. And SWTORista did a series of songs for Merry Life Day and created custom videos for it. and they're awesome. And also props because I think she sang, which as someone who loves karaoke but can't sing, I always have an
I'm
appreciation.
an enthusiastic karaoke.
Huge
guy.
respect for that.
Yeah, I'm an enthusiastic, terrible singer. She's a much better singer. So definitely check those out as well. And last but not least, we're always continuing to expand on the influencer program. So I'm happy to announce that Jesse from Passionately Casual and Volk have joined in on the influencer program. Awesome. So we'll be sure to, I mean, I'm sure you guys know who both of them are because they've been creating content for ages as well. So we'll be sure to give more visibility. I have to reiterate, again, if you're podcasting, streaming, blogging, literally anything involving content of any kind, and you're interested in trying to be a part of the influencer program, or even just want to help kind of get started and try to get codes for giveaways or whatever you want, reach out to me. Twitter, forums, any way you can figure to send me a message. I'm everywhere. Yeah. Find me, let me know who you are, and we can start working together to try to either just help build your audience in any way that we can, or get you onto the influencer program. So just want to say thanks to everybody who's a part of it and all the great work that they've been doing.
It makes a really, really big difference. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Yep.
Okay. Looking forward. So, I mean, I guess we talked about a lot of this stuff, but, we talked about 5.1 coming January 24th. I think we're really excited to get the Uprisings out there, the changes to the endgame gearing, the master mode for the chapters. We think there's a lot of great content for a variety of people, so that's going to be really great. We talked earlier how we'll do our next stream on the 26th of January, and our goal there is to talk more about what's coming. So we'll have some stuff about an update coming in spring, and anything else that we think makes sense to share at that point in time. So
certainly, there's been tons of questions in chat, right, about like any type of content you get, operations, Warzone, Starfighter, like any of those questions, content stuff. The stream that we're doing at the end of them is really where we're going to talk about what we're doing.
We're doing next.
Yes, just to try to address some of that. So we haven't been ignoring it for this stream. That's the focus of next stream. So come next time.
Yep. So that's looking forward. Oh, whoa. Okay.
Ben.
I put the video in the wrong spot.
You
notice that?
You put the video. We were. Ben was
Amateur.
actually. I was Ben,
okay. So, is there a wrap-up slide today?
That was the wrap-up slide.
That was the wrap-up slide.
Oh, that was the wrap-up slide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't call it wrap-up. That's why I messed it up.
You threw off this whole game.
I messed it up. That's what
Anyway,
it is.
and I guess you will post a wrap-up in the forums?
Correct, yeah. Okay. So wrap up with a link to all of the influencer stuff that we talked about, and all of the details that we discussed today will all be in the wrap-up, although I probably need to get some of the more details that Charles talked about with Galactic Command and make sure to put those in there as well.
Yeah. It's hard with some of those numbers because we've got to do a little bit of testing, lock it down, but as soon as it's locked in,
we'll be sure to post
make
that
sure,
stuff.
Eric, that you post it for everyone.
Yep.
Okay, so is there anything else before we show our sign-off video and bid thee farewell?
I don't. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Thank you guys for coming to the stream again.
Much
We just wanted to check in.
So check-in. It was like, hey, it's a brand new year. Let's say hello. We haven't had a stream for 3 weeks. It felt awkward for us. A little bit of separation anxiety went on for us spending some time with you guys, and it's just good to hang out and really, again, to recognize all the people who contribute to the community at large. I think that was the kicker where we're like, all right, we definitely need to do one because it's worth calling all those fantastic people out who help so much.
Yeah.
A great question about the gearing changes, which we didn't talk specifically about, which is that the way PvP works is a little bit different in PvE in that you actually get pieces of gear and then upgrade those pieces of gear as opposed to buying the new tier.
Yeah, you basically trade in and swap to the next one.
And so someone was asking about specifics like what's the Valor requirement and some of that stuff. Those are the kind of details that once we get a little bit more like fully locked on numbers, because we don't want to give you the wrong information. That's the kind of stuff we'll definitely work on getting on the forums and letting you guys know how many tokens you'll get, how much stuff will cost, and like it's more of that stuff. We'll try to get more of that information out in the coming weeks.
Right.
So good question though. I forgot that is different. So
also saw someone ask about PAX South. I'm going to be there. I heard Musco might stop by.
I also may be there, and maybe we'll go to a bar somewhere and buy drinks.
Yeah. Don't know if it'll be anything official, but we'll look for a chance for you all to
I can
hang
tell
out
you
with us.
most likely we are not going to do a cantina at PAX South, but Charles and I will most definitely be there.
Yeah,
and
I will definitely be there, so if you spot me anywhere, feel free to hit me up. I may be dressed in Mandalorian armor.
I was going to say, you'll be easy to see, I think, knowing you.
Or as a Jedi. But I'm always happy to chat. So.
All right. So on that note, again, thank you all for tuning in. We're excited to come back and see you guys at the end of January with some more information on what's coming soon in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Thank you for being part of our loyal fan base. and a happy new year, and we wish you all the best for 2017.
Yeah.
Do you want to intro what they're about to see? I'm sure many of them may have seen it already.
Why don't you do the honors?
This is our little preview video for the Trench Runner Uprising that's coming here at the end of the month, just a couple weeks from now. It's going to be a really cool one and a chance to, beat down some Republic people for once rather than all these Imperials and crooks. So hope you all enjoy it. We'll see you soon.
See you in a couple weeks, guys. Thanks for coming.
Let me turn off our faces. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.